Now, I also need to do one more thing. We have a very special day coming up next week. And I don't usually plug the next week's service because I don't want you to leave now and come back next week thinking, right, well, I don't have to be here. I can just come next week. But next week, we're going to have a fabulous day. Fabulous day. We're doing, I don't think, what we've ever done here before. We can't tell you what it is because we don't want to blow the surprise. So you actually have to come. If you're watching online, it will be online, but it will be better in the room. And it'll be a fabulous experience. And then after that, we're doing sandwiches in the courtyard. And then we have the choir concert on next Sunday. So next Sunday, the whole church is worshiping together. So the kids are going to be in the room. We're all going to be in for this experience. You're going to come in. You're going to buckle in, strap down, and we're going to take you for a little ride. And if you don't love it, I don't know how you live, right? Because it's going to just be a fabulous morning. Okay, you ready? All right, who remembers a song that goes something like this? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So that song was written by Harlan Wood and Cy Miller in 1955. It was initially written and sung for the International Children's Choir and the Ganger Dance Academy in Long Beach, California. The composer led several rehearsals of this through 1955 through 1957 to children's choirs all over the world. The song is performed worldwide by many, many artists. It's become kind of a Christmas song. Many artists have included it in their Christmas album. It's a hymn that is in many Christian denominations' hymnal. And many churches, and it actually lists this in Google, that says, and unity churches include it after every service. And if Google says it, we know it's got to be right. So for over 60 years, we've been singing in unity churches all over the world, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. True? So how are we doing with that? Right? How are you doing with your own journey of peace? Is it something that you feel? Like, do you think your life is getting more peaceful? Or is it not really making any difference at all? Is your life as wound up and as stressful and tough as it's always been? Or do you notice that it's actually getting easier and easier to be you? That there's actually a sense of joy and peace that's coming into your life? You know, sometimes it's tough. Because honestly, anybody that's worked with me or lived with me knows that I'm not always at peace. Frankly, sometimes peace is hard. Frankly, sometimes I don't even want peace. Right? I don't want peace. I want to be right. Has anybody ever been in that place where you didn't want peace, you just wanted to be right? And more importantly, there's sometimes when I don't, more than wanting to be right, I want you to be wrong. And guess how much that adds to peace in my life? I just want what I want sometimes. Sometimes I just want you to get out of my way and act right, stop at stop signs. I had a lady, I got a story if you want to hear it. But let me tell you, every time I tell that story, guess how much it adds to my sense of peace? Goose egg. Right? And this thing about peace, it's really tough sometimes. Because our ego doesn't care about peace. It's not interested. Our ego wants to be right. Our ego wants to shame the people around me when they're wrong, and we will clearly tell them how wrong they are if they'll just slow down for a moment and listen to us. But peace has been one of the most unexpected blessings in my life. Peace really, in a real way, has made more difference in what happens within my soul than probably anything else. And I think about all the times in my life where I prayed for success or love, And what I really needed the most was peace. I want you to hear that. What most of us need more than anything else that we're praying for is peace. Because there's something that happens when we have peace. We trust the presence of God. We trust that God is at work. And when we're at peace, we actually allow the activity of Spirit. We allow grace to begin to move in our life and change and do things that our ego has been working on for years and years and years. And the moment we get to peace, we begin to take a step back and allow the glory of God to work. And yet, Spirit has put us in a universe where we have families. And we have holidays. And those come together. And sometimes during the holidays, peace is the first thing that gets thrown out the window. Nobody else? Me and that one lady, God bless her. Right? And what's so adorable is that we spent 4 weeks this fall on one concept. 4 weeks. And the idea of this concept was Mel Robbins' book, Let Them. Right? Anybody remember that? Anybody stayed awake for any of those talks? And this is her words. The moment we say let them, we stop giving our power away. When we say let them, we take back and start living the life that's for you, your dreams, your peace, your values. And it's an amazing thing when we move the essence or the focus of our life from the external to the internal, which is the spiritual life. The spiritual life is an internal experience. And one of my favorite quotes of Mel's is this: if they want to leave together, let them. If they choose someone else, let them. If they don't support you the way you want to be supported, let them. If they don't invite you, let them. Stop wasting your energy trying to change or control other people. Let them show you who they are, and then you can choose what you want to do next. See, this thing about peace is so interesting for me, because most of us come into the world and out of a sense of insecurity or fear or woundedness, we tend to put so much of the focus of our attention on everything around us. What are they doing? What are they saying? What's going on out there? And the thought is, if I can get this all right, what's going to happen? Then I get to peace. If I can just get all my ducks in a row, right, then there's finally going to be order in my life. And in my experience, it just never works that way. Let them approach is a mindset popularized by Mel Robbins, as we said, which means releasing the need to control others and their actions, their opinions, their choices, and allow them to be who they are. Wow. Can you make that shift internally that allows everyone to be who they are? Because it's a huge difference. Because we want to be helpful. We do. We want to be helpful. So it's helpful if they don't know how wrong they are. It's helpful for me to kindly point it out in a way that only shames them a little bit. And they will learn from my wisdom and my insights and my enlightenment how wrong they are, and they will change. And I want us to see over and over again how much energy it takes to live externally thinking that's going to create an internal change. And that's where most of us have lived from. The idea that if I can make an external change, it's going to make an internal difference. And what we're saying today is that peace begins with me. If I'm going to have peace in my life, if I'm going to have peace in the world, I have to first find it within ourselves. Her core principles are this: stop trying to control what others think, do, say, choose rather to manage your own life. Let them face their own consequences. Allow others the space to learn from their own mistakes and choices. Observe who they truly are and make peace with who they are. And refocus on you and your life, on what you hope and dream and desire for yourself. This is such a powerful change. It's such a powerful transformation when you actually move the focus of your life off the external, because peace becomes more important. How many of you remember the book that Byron Katie wrote, Loving What Is? Loving what is takes it to a whole nother level, because she says not only accept what is, but love it. Love it. That is such a radical shift. Like, most of us are just trying to get to tolerance. Most of us are just trying to get to tolerance. If I can just tolerate Uncle Bob during this Christmas, it'll be the best Christmas ever. If he goes off on one of his tirades, let me just tolerate Uncle Bob. Now, if you think about loving what is, when he goes off to in one of his tirades, you have to say, isn't that adorable? Isn't he cute? Look at Uncle Bob. He's going off again. He's had 2 drinks, and here we go. Isn't he wonderful? Oh, Uncle Bob, we love the entertainment you bring to the family. Right? It's a different conversation. Loving what is challenges us not just to tolerate or accept, but actually love life, because if we can get our arms around it, if we can get our heart around it, if we can open our spirit to it, it no longer stresses us out, and we are in the presence of God. Here, Byron Katie, as long as you think the cause of your problem is out there, as long as you think that anyone or anything is responsible for your suffering, the situation is hopeless. It means that you are forever the role of the victim, and that you're suffering in paradise. A thought is harmless until you believe it. It's not our thoughts, but our attachment to our thoughts that causes suffering. Attachment to a thought means that believing it's true without inquiring. A belief that a thought is accurate can be held for years. See, I want us to play with this idea of peace, because for some of us, we need to take our next step. Like, we're still suffering in the drama of others. And for some of us, this holiday season is not a big celebration. It's not fun and games and laughter and play and joy. Some of us, it's hard. And when it's hard, we have to dig deeper. We have to go within and say, what is that in me that is resisting that? What is that in me that's objecting to that experience? What is that in me that I need to heal or bless or transform so that I can be in this experience? One of the other books that has had an impact on my life is Richard Carlson's book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Right? It's all small stuff. Sometimes the wonder begins to happen when the simple realization that life, like an automobile, is driven from the inside out, not the other way around. As you focus more on becoming more peaceful where you are, rather than focusing on where you are, trying to get that to be peaceful, we begin to find peace right now, in the present moment. Then you move around, you try new things, you meet new people, you carry that sense of inner peace with you, and it's absolutely true that wherever you go, there you are. One of the mistakes that many of us make is that we feel sorry for ourselves, for others, thinking that life should be fair, or that someone should be different. It's not. It won't. And when we make the mistake, we tend to spend a lot of time wallowing and complaining about what's wrong with life. It's not fair, we complain, not realizing that perhaps it was never intended to be. Like, life isn't here to get you what you want. Life is here to awaken your soul to the fullness of God. If we think life should be fair, we should look at the life of Jesus. Some may say, well, that wasn't fair. It wasn't. And yet his life had the opportunity of awakening millions and millions of people to what God is in them. He said in John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace do I give unto you, not as the world gives to you. So let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." So how does the world say to get to peace? Make sure everything out here is just right, and then you get to be at peace. What Jesus is saying is that let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid, that no matter what's going on in your life, peace is always an option. Peace is an option. Will you say that with me? Peace is an option. One more time. Peace is an option. Mark 4:39, he said, "Peace, be still." He taught us the way. Like in the presence of our upset, peace, be still. Go within. Peace, be still. Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, because they will be called children of God. Now, I remember the first time I heard that. I thought a peacemaker was somebody who went out into the world and got people to make peace together. Right? And it was my job to make sure that everybody was at peace in my family and peace in the world and peace in our neighbors and that they were all peaceful. That's not really what it says. For they will be called children of God. When your peace lives within you as a magnificent expression of God, you actually become the peacemaker. You are God's peace expressing. Peace was the biggest surprise in my life. I never asked for peace. I never thought really a lot about peace. I was too busy trying to get what I wanted. And then something happened, and many of you know, and I've talked about it before, is my wife, Jill, had a neurological reaction to a medication, and she spent 18 months in the dark. It's still hard for me to talk about it. And people will say, well, she didn't really spend 18 months in the dark. She spent about 80% of 18 months in the dark. She'd had come out for a little bit, but then she'd go back into the room, and it was literally 18 months in the dark. Guess how much I wanted to say that was unfair? To know this big, bright, beautiful woman, and to know she's in a dark room, and you have no idea how long it's going to take for her to come out, be well, to be better. Is she ever going to be better? Is she ever going to come out? And it took me to the darkest place within my soul. I had to trust God in a way that I never trusted God before. I didn't know if that's how the rest of my life was going to be as a caregiver to a woman who's trapped in a dark room. 18 months. Talk about dark night of the soul. I know that one. And when I realized about halfway through that process is that if I was going to survive, I had to go deeper in my own spiritual life. I had to make peace with the situation just the way it was. Even though I wanted it to change, even though I wanted her to be healed, even though I wanted her to come out, I had to make peace with the way it was. And I had to dig deep for that. Because there's so much of me that wanted to scream that it's unfair. It's not right. God, this is, what kind of God would do this? And I had to dig deep. And I had to practice peace. I had to decide that every day, no matter what that day brought, that I was going to dig deeper than that, and that I was going to find my own space. And what I began to realize is that I have a bubble around me. And you can't see it, but it's there. And that I live in this bubble around me. And I can interact with others, but I'm still in my bubble. And that if I'm sad or upset or angry in my bubble, it's just in my bubble. And that if I wanted to change something in my life, if I wanted to have a happier, greater, more peaceful life, the only thing that I could really work on was in my bubble. What were my thoughts? What were my beliefs? What were my judgments? And to begin to change what was going on in my bubble. And I could have interactions with others, and I could have a dance with life. But the only thing that really mattered to me was inside my bubble. Am I happy? Am I joyous? Am I grateful? Am I blessed? That in my bubble was my peace, was my joy, and I had absolute control over that. And that if I wanted to live that day as a victim, I had a God-given right to be as miserable as I needed to be. If I wanted to know profound joy and peace and love in that moment, I could know it right there, but I had to stay in my bubble. That I am 100% responsible for what happens in my bubble. And there's some days I still have a bad day, but not very often. Not very often. And I don't let it last very long, because God took me to the mat. God took me to a place that I didn't want to go and made me stay there day after day, month after month until I got it. That I am 100% responsible for my peace. Will you say that with me? I am 100% responsible for my peace. And the other thing I began to do was to spend 5 minutes in a chair, anywhere, anything going on around me, doesn't matter. I don't have to have meditation music or candles or incense. It can be on a plane. It can be anywhere, but I take 5 minutes and I breathe in and out peace. And I realized that all the trauma and the upset that I had to deal with through the course of my life, that my nervous system had been wound toward anxiety. And in my 5 minutes every day, I breathe in and I breathe out peace until I could actually rewire my nervous system to peace. And that peace became the most important thing to me. And my job is how quickly can I make peace with whatever's going on in my life. And there's some people in my life that are really good still at upsetting me. They're sneaky little ones. Some of them are family, some of them are friends, some of them are politicians, some of them just get to me. And I get to do in that moment is ask myself, how quickly can I get to peace? How quickly can I get to peace? Because peace is my commitment to myself. Can you hear that? Peace is my commitment to myself. I commit to peace. Will you pray with me? I want you to take a deep breath and feel the holy presence that's within you and all around you. And I want you to feel your own commitment to peace. Mine started with no commitment at all. I started this problem not committed to peace whatsoever. I didn't care. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I wanted to be successful. And then my life got to the point where peace was the most important thing. And all I could do every day was just breathe in, breathe out, and try to be at peace. Breathe in, breathe out, and feel the presence of God. Breathe in, breathe out, and feel the presence of God. In the name and through the power of the living Christ, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. God bless you all. Have a great week.